Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about one of the most unsettling realities emerging from Russia, a reality that is shaking the confidence of millions and creating a wave of panic across the country. The topic is simple but extremely serious: why Moscow can't stop what is happening right now, why fear is rising in the heart of Russia, and why the capital is no longer seen as safe. This story is not just about defense systems or military strategy, it is about a city that for decades stood as the symbol of unbreakable power, and now finds itself exposed in ways that even the most powerful leaders did not anticipate. When we look at the outer situation, the face that Moscow shows to the world, it is clear that the city was designed and presented as one of the most heavily guarded capitals in human history. Russia has invested billions over decades to build a protective shield around Moscow. Missile defense systems, anti-drone technologies, radar networks, and layers of military control have made the exterior of the city look like an iron fortress. For years, no one questioned its ability to protect itself from outside threats. The Kremlin often showcased these technologies as proof of its strength, convincing not only its own people but also the world that Moscow was untouchable. Yet in recent months, this exterior image has begun to collapse. Modern technology, especially small but smart drones, is slipping through these defenses. What once seemed impenetrable is now vulnerable, and these vulnerabilities are visible to the world. Inside the city, the situation is even more striking. The daily lives of citizens are no longer shaped by complete trust in their safety. People who once moved around without concern now look over their shoulders, scanning the skies or worrying about sudden alarms. The short but sharp psychological changes happening inside the capital show how quickly the perception of safety can vanish. Streets that once carried a calm confidence now hold an undercurrent of fear. Ordinary families whisper about the possibility of attacks, social media fills with clips of warning sirens, and conversations in workplaces shift from regular matters to questions of security. The interior feeling of Moscow has changed, and that shift is as powerful as any physical strike because it undermines the spirit of the people. The performance of Russia's protective systems, once advertised as flawless, is also under fire. On paper, Moscow's air defense and early warning systems can intercept incoming threats at incredible speeds. But performance in reality often falls short of expectation. The agility of modern drones and cyber-based attacks makes it harder for traditional systems to react quickly enough. A single failure is enough to spark doubt, and repeated failures damage public confidence beyond repair. People see news reports of drones reaching the edges of the city, and they wonder how a government that claims to control everything cannot fully control this. Performance in military language is measured in numbers and percentages, but performance in the minds of people is about trust, and right now that trust is being eroded. Safety features were once Moscow's pride. Underground shelters, warning sirens, civil defense drills, and hardened infrastructure all formed part of the protective fabric of the capital. These features were meant to reassure the population that, no matter what happened, there would always be safety. But the unpredictability of new types of warfare changes everything. When attacks come in forms that do not follow the old rules, safety systems often lag behind. This leaves gaps where people feel unprotected, and it is within those gaps that fear grows strongest. Safety, once the unshakable foundation of Moscow, is no longer guaranteed. The idea that a modern city can be absolutely safe has been shattered, and Moscow is the latest example. What makes this situation unique is that Moscow is not just any city. It is the political heart of Russia, the symbol of its strength, and the center of its power. If Moscow is vulnerable, it means the image of Russian invincibility is vulnerable. That is the real selling point of this unfolding story. The world is witnessing a global power reveal cracks in its armor. Another unique factor is how the psychological element has become as powerful as physical strikes. Panic spreads faster than drones, fear travels faster than news, and the perception of vulnerability weakens a capital more than bombs can. The uniqueness of this crisis lies not just in technology, but in the way it changes the mindset of millions. The price of all this is enormous, and it is measured in many ways. Financially, billions of rubles continue to be poured into upgrading defenses, into researching new technologies, into covering damage. Yet for every ruble spent, there is still a gap that money cannot close. The human price is seen in the growing anxiety of the people, in parents who worry about their children walking to school, in workers who look nervously out of office windows when alarms sound. Politically, the price is even higher. A government that once promised ultimate safety now faces questions, doubts, and criticism. Internationally, Moscow pays with its reputation. A city that was once the symbol of an iron wall is now presented in headlines as a vulnerable target. This reputational price is one that no government can easily afford. The conclusion is as unsettling as it is clear. Moscow is no longer completely safe. The idea of an invincible capital has been broken. What we are seeing is not just the failure of defense systems, but the collapse of an image built over decades. For years, Moscow represented strength, control, and security, but today it represents something different, the reality that no city, no matter how powerful, is beyond the reach of modern warfare. Panic across Russia is not only about drones or alarms, it is about the realization that absolute protection is impossible. This realization shakes the foundations of confidence and changes the way people view their own government. The story of Moscow today is not just about weapons and defenses, it is about psychology, image, and the cost of trying to appear invincible in a world that is changing faster than old systems can adapt. The lesson is harsh but important. Power without flexibility is weakness, and safety without constant innovation is only an illusion. Moscow, once a fortress, is now a reminder of that truth. Now the real question is what comes next. Will Russia adapt to this new reality by building better systems, or will the cracks widen until confidence completely collapses? Will citizens find a new way to live with uncertainty, or will fear continue to dominate their daily lives? These are the questions that remain, and the answers will determine not just the future of Moscow, but the perception of Russia on the global stage. This situation is a wake-up call not just for Russia, but for the entire world. It shows that in the age of drones, cyber warfare, and psychological tactics, no capital can guarantee perfect safety. The panic that Moscow is facing today could be the reality for other cities tomorrow. It is a reminder that security is no longer about walls and missiles, but about innovation, adaptability, and the ability to accept that fear itself has become a weapon. Thank you for staying with me through this detailed explanation. This is a story that will continue to unfold, and its consequences will be felt far beyond Russia. Make sure to share your thoughts below, because discussions like these matter more than ever. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the events that shape our world.